Okay then, day 2 of trying to sort out the mess that's been done to my discovery. So in the other video I removed the master cylinder for the clutch because I'm assuming that this is the problem, given the fact that this is at least 5 years old, probably more, and the other one and the slave cylinder I replaced maximum of a year ago. So in this box that's just been delivered should be a brand new genuine master cylinder. Let's have a look. Right, so genuine, made in the UK, product, part, whatever. So let's see. I know what's going to be in here. Obviously it's going to be a master cylinder, but for those of you that may be following my quest, I suppose, as you could call it. How do you open this box? I suppose you could call it a quest. You know, you might be going through the same thing and you want to know what you get. Well, this is what you get and this is how it comes. Lovely. Absolutely lovely jubbly. Brand new master cylinder. Now the only thing... Oh, that's much better. Oh yeah. You can feel straight away. Yeah. This one is definitely much better. I don't want to be doing too much of it. The only thing I've got to do is change over this electrical connection, put it on here, and then we should be ready to rock and roll, as they say. Got to take that out with an Allen key. Alright, all that is a little grub screw bung what goes in here, because some models don't have this electrical. I don't know what this does, to tell you the truth, but it's there anyway, and some don't, some do, and mine does. So I had to take the little bung out, a little grub screw bung, and put my electrical sensor back in. Trouble is, I ain't got a bloody spanner that fits it properly. Right, let's go through the spanner. Anyway, cut all this out, let's go to the car and fit it. So the first thing to do is obviously put the new one in. So if you've got the electrical sensor, you've got to plug that on first, and then just slide the the new master on there, and then get your nut. And I use that bolt to block off the pipe while I weren't using it, just so that it didn't come out and your moisture didn't get in there. And bolt the new master on, and then after that I'm going to go and attach the pedal, and then we'll put the pipes on afterwards. Right, so here we go. If I just switch on the old light, we can see our new master rod just poking up through there. There it is, there's our new rod. It's going to be tricky to do it and show you at the same time, but all you got to do is do the reverse of what we done when we took it apart, basically. Put that pin through that hole. Line the hole up with the thing, put that pin through it, and put the clip on it. That's all you've got to do. There's not enough room to have the camera in here while I'm doing it, unfortunately. There we go. Rod's on, pins through, clips on. Next, got to put the brake, got to put the lines on, and then we'll bleed it off that. Okay then, so I didn't film much after the last bit what you saw. That's because I got covered in brake fluid, and I didn't want to get it all over my camera and everything. So when I get into something, when I get into a project, and I'm sort of in like the groove, and I'm taking things off and all this rubbish. There's tools flying everywhere. There's oil flying everywhere. There's parts flying everywhere, and yeah. Kind of like one of them old professors. So yeah, I was covered in it. I thought, I can't film anymore, I'll have to just carry on. But it didn't go to plan. I bled it, I put the new master on, and I bled it and bled it and bled it. I sucked the fluid up, blew the fluid forward, I sucked it back, and then it worked. And it was fantastic, and I thought, yes. And the pedal felt really solid. And then I noticed, as I was pushing on the pedal, the pressure was going. And I'm thinking, well, it must be a leak. So I checked everywhere, there's no leak. So there's only one more obvious solution, one more obvious culprit, and that's the slave. And let's have a look at that, and I'll explain why this is. I'm pretty sure there is a problem with it, because when you see it, well, I've never seen one like this, and I can't see it being right. Right, so that's the old master that I've just taken off. This is the old slave. Now, put it there like that. Now, this isn't, I know it looks a bit quite old, but it ain't. I replaced it, I can't remember exactly, I've said this in the other video, approximately 6 months to a year, somewhere around that time. The weather was sort of warm, so I'm edging towards a year, I don't know. Anyway, it's relatively new compared to what the master was, so I thought this can't be the problem. It should be lasting longer than a year, you know. But then, because I've got no other problems, well, I put a new master on and I've still got the same problem. It was better, and then it got worse again while I was testing it. So, this is the next one on the line. Now, when I took it out, I've never seen, usually they just look like this, you know, and the little piston goes in and out, and that's that. But then when I took it out, I was surprised that that happened. That can't be right, because you've got seals here that seal. This is like a piston, and that's a cylinder. That's a piston, that's a cylinder, and there's a little spring inside there. Now, you can see that's the inlet for the fluid. That's the little bleed nipple that you bleed it with, and that's the inlet for the fluid. So the fluid literally goes in there. You can see the little hole in the end, hopefully. Yeah, there you go. You see a little hole in the end. Now, what happens is, the fluid comes in there when you press it. That piston will be all the way in there, because the rod will be pushing it all the way in. And then you push on the pedal, that piston gets forced out and disengages the clutch. But if that's not sealing, all the fluid's going to be coming out from around it. And it was a bit damp inside there, and I was just surprised that this just fell out. It shouldn't just fall out. Alright, here we go. I don't know whether this is going to be in the same video as removing the master cylinder and taking the old slave out, or if I'm going to do a new one yet, but obviously you'll know that by now because you're watching this video. So if it is in the same video and you're still watching, well done, thank you very much. If it's a different video and you've just tuned in because it's a different video, then, you know, this is going to be the one where I change the old slave cylinder for the new one. If I can work out how to get into this bloody box. Now, I got this from Paddock Spares because, well, not gonna lie, they're a specialist, obviously-ish, in Land Rovers and all that rubbish, but it's not only that. It was also, it's a genuine part, well, it's supposed to be a genuine part anyway, but it was cheaper than any place I could get locally. The local little parts place that I usually go to wanted £42 for this, but you know, I don't like not going to local shops, but Paddock's, including delivery, was £39, and you know, every penny counts at the moment. So here we go, brand new slave, old slave. Obviously they're going to be the same, I'm not expecting them not to be, but there's something that I've noticed. This one has got a little rubber thing around it, and that one hasn't. I never even thought about it before. I can't remember whether it had one on it when I put it on. It must have done. I reckon when they've changed my clutch, I don't know actually, I can't put my finger on it. I reckon that's what's happened. You lot, I reckon that's what's gone and happened. I don't know yet, we'll have to see if this fixes my problem. But I reckon when they took the old slave off, they've removed this little rubber part, and now it ain't working. Anyway, that's the first thing I noticed, and sorry about that. I did get a little bit excited because it's a very long time in, you know, trying to get this car to work now, and I just get excited when I think I've found the problem. So anyway, the main differences are new one's got rubber thing around here, and obviously the little rod goes in there like that. Other than that, it's exactly the same as the other part. as this old one. I don't think this old one here was a genuine part. I think it was the patterned part. I can't remember. It's only about a year old, I think. Anyway, let's go and put it on and see what happens. Hopefully it makes all the difference. Right, sorry I didn't film any of actually fitting that new slave. I was absolutely covered in oil and hydraulic fluid and everything, and I didn't want to get it over my camera, blah blah blah, usual story. However, I'm pleased because it's fixed the problem. I'm not very happy because I rang up the company that fitted this clutch and it worked before. I mean, they're trying to tell me that because I told them that I took the slave out and the seal was missing around the end and the piston was flopping in and out without any resistance. And it was working before when I drove it there, and its clutch was working fine with a little bit of slip. And they said, well, it was broken before, that's why it was slipping. I hate confrontation, and I really feel as if it's their fault. I don't know what to do now. I just hate confrontation, and he didn't like it on the phone. Anyway, that's not the point. Point is, look at this. Ready? Engine is running. Engine is running. Clutch. Nice and, you know, there's resistance there, and then second, third, fourth, fifth. Reverse is a little bit hard. Reverse is a little bit tricky to get in. It's alright once you've done it once. Reverse used to be nice and easy. But anyway, it goes into gear and it drives alright. I've got as much air as possible out of that by just bleeding it in the old conventional way of pumping the clutch, having someone pump the clutch and then I go around and do the nipple and stuff. So there's the new slave down there, all fitted, just to prove I have put a new slave in there, and it's working wonderfully so far. It seems to all be good. I haven't put any of the engine casing and together or nothing yet. Do you know what's something else that annoyed me? There's supposed to be two wires coming out of there, a black and a cream. Well, they've broken the wires and just put the black and the cream together. That's annoyed me, that has. I don't know what that does, that little sensor down there. Don't know what it does, but it's annoying. But anyway, I'm a bit more happy now that it's up and running. The battery's going to run out on the camera. I'm a bit more happy now it's up and running. I've got to put all my stuff back together, all the trim that goes under here and all that. I probably didn't need to change the master cylinder, but I've done it anyway, so I've got a new master, new slave. It should all be good now. Then I might try and bleed it one more time. It feels nice to me. I mean, the people that fitted this were telling me the clutch is heavy. I don't think that's heavy at all. I think that's nice. It feels like a nice clutch. I don't know what they're expecting to be for heavy or for light or what. I have no idea. But I don't think it's heavy at all. Maybe it's because I'm used to driving those old. Well, I'm not used to driving the old tractors anymore, but maybe I've driven many things with really heavy clutches, I don't know, but I don't think it's heavy at all. So overall, now, I mean, I can't really give it a good review because of all this trouble, but them at Rayquay, them clutches seem to be alright. I'm going to put it all back together and I'm going to give it 2 or 3 weeks of driving, and then I'll come back and I'll let you know what the clutch is actually like. It's just a shame we had all this palaver in between. I mean, do I blame the people that fitted it for damaging that slave? I mean, it's down here. Here it is. Here's the old slave. Now, as you saw a minute ago, when I've got the old one, I mean the new one, there's a rubber seal around here, right? Now, from all the research that I've managed to do on slaves, because I wanted to make sure that I got it right, so that I didn't, you know, go giving anyone false information or go and ask them people for money back when it weren't necessary. So I managed to get hold of some bloke who used to work for Land Rover, and he used to make various parts and he used to fit them and everything. Now apparently this, well, it needs to have the seal around it, needs to have that cover, whatever you want to call it, bush, not bush is it, it's a, what's it, you know, the little black thing that we saw. It needs to have that over it. If it doesn't, it can cause trouble. But also, this shouldn't be like this, you know, that shouldn't be like that. That should be nice and stiff. This is far too loose. So, the fact that it was working before, and this is only about a year old, you know, who do we blame? Was it on its way out and it was coincidental? But where has this little bush gone? Where's this little seal gone that went over the top? Where's that gone? You know, that should have been inside between the clutch and the gearbox if it'd fallen off while I was driving, but it can only go in there, it can't go nowhere else. So personally, I think that when they've taken this slave out, they've lost this, because it was on there at one point. You can see the evidence where it used to be, around the edge of there. See all the black stuff where it used to be glued in. I reckon they've lost it, and then the cylinder's pulled out, and it's ruined that seal. That's why when he went to put it back together, he had no pedal straight away the first time, and they've charged me for fitting it twice. So I don't know, I don't think I can go any further with it, to tell you the truth. I think that's about it. You know, unless any of you can give me some advice. I mean, I've asked them if he's prepared to give me any sort of money back because I feel that he's done the damage. They said no. He said it weren't my fault. No, the clutch was slipping before. I said, but the clutch was slipping, but the slave was all right. No, the clutch was slipping before. That's because the slave was faulty. So I don't know what to do about it, to tell you the truth. You know, who knows? Anyway, I'm pleased because the car, I've got it back, it's working, and I'm sounding like one of those Americans that repeats themselves 12,000 times in one sentence. Blah, 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 the car. I'm just really happy. I'm really happy. This has sort of made me, well, like I said, really happy. Because I was so disappointed, you know, take it to a professional to have it fitted and they mess it up. I could have just done it myself. I've had to fix it myself. Anyway, the reason I took it to a professional was to avoid bodging, and then what's happened? Anyway, getting off the point again. So I'm going to go and put all this back together, put all the cover back on the engine and everything, put all that shrouding back under there, and then just go and drive it for a couple of weeks, make sure everything's all right, and then I'll come back and let you know what the clutch is like. Oh, bloody brilliant. I'm so happy. Thanks for watching, everyone. Stay tuned. You know, there's going to be a CB radio video coming up on mobile CB radio. So if you're interested in that, just, well, it might be before this video. I don't know, whatever. Just thanks for watching. Take care, everyone. See you later.